And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life,
Thank you.
what matters to me is that you keep doing. I love you always, Mom. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
Welcome to Fight for Life, a pro-life radio show discussing the ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, board member and executive director of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And I'm Jessica, logistics specialist at First Choice Pregnancy Services. We are ambassadors for the unborn. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, friends. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Deborah here with Jess, ambassadors on behalf of the babies, here to share insights and real-life stories in the fight for the unborn. We have Ken back with us today. We're so excited to have Ken here.
He's looking all around like,
bring him in.
Jess is going to give you the weekly update, and then we're going to dive into a fun half hour with Ken.
Amen. Happy September, everyone. It is September 1st. This is Jess bringing you the weekly update from August 25th through the 31st of 2022. The supporters of First Choice Pregnancy Services help to provide 86 free pregnancy tests and 53 free ultrasounds to the women of the Las Vegas community. Many of these women are abortion bound, and some are even under the impression that they've walked into an abortion clinic to have their abortion. So thank you for helping save babies from death through abortion and for speaking up for the voiceless, as Proverbs 31 says we ought to. If you're listening while we're live and you have a question you'd like to ask, please call into the show at 702-650-5588 to have our station manager, Alyssa or Sunny, put you on the air. This show is sponsored by Desert Hills Baptist Church. We want to thank you, Desert Hills Baptist Church. And if you want to sponsor Fight for Life Radio, please get in contact with Alyssa or Sunny directly to make arrangements, and then ask about the sponsorship packages that they've made available to you so generously by KKVV. If you missed last week's broadcast, you can watch it on our Facebook page, FCPS Friends, and while you're there, like us, follow us, and share. You can also follow us on YouTube at FCPS Friends and on Instagram and Twitter at FCPS_Friends. If you're watching while we're live, you can interact with us by sending us your questions and comments, and we will respond as they come in. Facebook people, share this post, share this live. Back to you, Deb.
Well, as I said at the top of the show today, we have Ken Wilson with us. Ken was with us 5-6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. And our show went so fast because every time we have such good conversation with different folk that are particularly those like Ken that have been involved in the pro-life movement for a long time. It's just always such a good conversation. So we have him back with us today. Thanks, Ken, for coming in on short notice.
Welcome, Ken.
Oh, glad to be here.
Ken, I know you told us a little bit about yourself last round and your family. Tell us a little bit, kind of refresh people on that, and give them a little bit of your history and background with 40 Days for Life.
Well, just to prove that I'm pro-life, I have 5 beautiful children, and three of whom are sick at home from school right now. Oh yeah, something hit.
The season.
Oh yeah, man, it's just like, as soon as they get in with the other kids, it's just like, oh no, don't breathe on the, and it's too late. And but no, beautiful kids. They're all doing well. And, I have a 17-year-old now in the house.
Wow.
Crazy.
I'm like, and then there's the 15-year-old boy is taller than I am, which is frightening. And he's gonna.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10.5", but he's already 6. He's going on 6'1".
Wow.
He's only 15. It's
My
scary.
14-year-old just came home this summer and passed his dad, so he's just getting ready to hit 6 foot.
Oh, it's like, who are you people? You know. But no, beautiful family, and I'm very, 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 very blessed. As far as 40 Days for Life go, my goodness, I don't know, 20 years ago, I don't know. We started it here in Las Vegas.
Did you start the Nevada chapter?
I did, as a matter of fact. I did. What happened was the team from 40 Days from Texas came out, and they were making pot stops all around the United States and saying, they were gathering together leaders in the pro-life community. And they would sit around, and he says, this is what we want to do. Which one of you is going to lead it? And then you know what happens in a room like that of all different leaders? Everybody starts
Look at
looking at
you.
the other person. And then after everybody was done looking at everybody else, it's like, I know where this is going. I didn't want to start hearing the excuses. Well, I can't do it because my ministry, and I can't do it. I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And therefore the blessings came.
Sure.
The blessings from 40 Days for Life. And it is a blessing. It's not easy, but the blessings are unbelievable. And so yeah, we've been doing it all these years later. And
Give everybody a little background on what 40 Days for Life is.
40 Days for Life, yes. In case you've never heard of 40 Days for Life, what it is 12 hours, in Las Vegas at least, 12 hours of prayer from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at an abortion facility that the 40 Days leadership folks will tell you where it is, right? Which I will do later. And we're on site praying 12 hours a day for 40 straight days. And that prayer includes fasting, and it also includes, for those who are led of the Lord, to intervene where they can. And a lot of people, a lot of you guys are intercessors out there. You know how to pray, right? And 40 Days wouldn't be here if it weren't for folks just like you. But there are some of us that, when they see a fire, they rush towards it. They're the people that immediately, so when they see the young lady and, she's walking and she's heading towards the abortion facility, they rush towards her in an effort to try and say, you know what, there's a better plan for you and your child and your family.
That's right.
And so there's a place for you. If all you do is pray, that's everything we want you to do and need you to do. And so the place to do it is at 40 Days for Life. And you say, well, Kenny, holy smokes, 40 days straight? You got to be kidding. 12 hours a day, no human being on the planet could do something like that. We're not asking you to do it alone. What we do is we outreach to all the churches in the Valley, all the Bible-believing, pro-life churches in the Valley, and we say, listen, we're starting prayer. Does your church believe in prayer? Yes, we do. Okay, good, because we're praying on site, on location for the next 40 days to intervene for families that are about to make a terrible decision, and also praying for abortion center staff, praying that, one day we can buy the building where the abortion clinic is. That's happened in so many places. Just any type of miracle that you can think can happen, that's what we're praying for. We're intervening. We're praying for our government, our Supreme Court, and our leaders, and our police department, police officers, and our emergency responders. We're praying for everybody. We're praying for the crisis pregnancy centers, like First Choice and Women's Resource Center and others in your community, wherever that may be. So that's what we're doing. And in order, can I tell them how to get involved? Mm-hmm. All right, here's what you do. You say, Ken, that's great. I love it. I'll give you, out of the 40 days, I'll give you 1 hour, one day. Okay, great. Here's what you do. You log into 40daysforlife.com/Las Vegas. And that might be that. And what you do, when you log into 40daysforlife.com/Las Vegas, it'll ask you to register, because you got to know who you are. And then you'll read through a statement of peace. And it's sort of like be Christ-like. You know how all the sum of the law and the prophets are summed up by Jesus in 2 commandments.
Behave yourself.
Love the Lord your God, and that's it. That's what our statement. Bottom line is, be Christ-like while you're out there. Not confrontations. If for some reason the police come, which is kind of a rare deal, but if they come, you do everything they say, which you're not doing anything illegal anyway, so it'll be fine. And then you sign that, and then you'll have access to the 40 Days for Life flyers for the upcoming kickoff rally. You'll have flyers for that. You'll have videos, things that you can share with your church so that your church is involved. A lot of times we don't want to inundate our pastors and our priests with our ministry detail stuff because they've already got a full plate. Mm-hmm. So what we like people to do is to be, we call them shepherds for their church. Go in, get all the information for your pastor. Say, you know what? I think the Lord wants us to do this.
Kind of like a liaison.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And you grab all the documentation, you read up a little bit, tell them what we want to do, and say, you know what? Wouldn't it be wonderful if our church picks October 5th as our church's day to pray? And Pastor, I will sign up people at the end of service from now until October 5th, and I will sign up folks to pray at certain hours. And we'll sign them all up, and we'll have the whole day covered, and that'll be our church's day. It'll be our outreach ministry. Yeah. Now, pastors who are listening, you have always wanted to get the gospel outside your church walls. This is how you do it. This is how you do it, because we're taking the gospel message of rescue, really, to the women and families who need it most. and the prayers that'll be there for the prayer warriors. It's an awesome, awesome experience. So I encourage you to be a part. So 40daysforlife.com/Las Vegas, and all the information that you need for your church or for you personally is right there online.
Amen. Well, thank you so much. Do you happen to have a couple testimonies? When I talked to you earlier this morning, you
Not
said,
one. I don't have not. You know,
there
I
are
came
so
in.
many testimonies that
There
you
was-
can
there
share.
was-
I'm sure.
You know, I was 20 years. I have none. Actually, this was an amazing save, and
Everybody
couple-
always has their favorite
oh,
one.
this is my favorite because it's the one that you're not a part of. That
Yeah.
you know. So a couple drives in, and one of our 40 Days for Life folks happens to be a nurse at the UMC, and very pro-life. And immediately she approaches the car, and they stop. Well, my nurse is Filipino, so she speaks English and Filipino. The people in these cars speak only Spanish. Now we have a language problem. So our wonderful nurse had a prayer partner who spoke fluent Spanish. So she brought the Spanish speaker, and they kind of translated everything. And the bottom line is that not only did this couple decide to have their baby, they now call that nurse their angel, even though they don't speak the same language. And for one of the kickoff rallies a few years ago, they actually brought their son. Now, keep in mind, they already had 4 daughters. And their 5th child, the one they were going to abort but didn't and was saved, was a little boy. And his name was Joshua. And I got to hold in my arms baby Joshua. I mean, a child that was saved from folks like you who are out there praying, for miracles to happen. They happen.
Standing in the gap.
And
And
I
that
mean,
wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have been obedient and said, Lord, here I am.
exactly. And these type of miracles can happen. And this is just one incident of dozens and dozens and dozens. I remember one of our guys was in a grocery store shopping, minding his own business. 2 girls came up to him and said, I just wanted to thank you and let you know that my friend and I saw you praying at that abortion facility when we went to go have the abortion, and she now has her baby, and we just wanted to thank you.
Wow.
Didn't intervene, there was no communication between them.
Wow.
Just seeing him praying there changed that young lady's
Wow.
mind, and now there's a child. That's a lot.
And so impactful that they recognized him in a grocery store
Yeah.
later, huh?
Well, this particular gentleman was kind of handicapped, so he had a walking thing. So it was kind of obvious, so they recognized him immediately.
Recognizable.
Yep.
But it's also, one of those just tender things that God orchestrates,
Yep.
just something to remind you your faithfulness matters,
Yeah.
even when you don't see the results.
What an encouragement.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it can happen to you too. 40daysforlife.com/Las Vegas.
That reminds me, we're probably going to have to put something together, just neat stories about people's obedience and saying, Lord, here I am. I want to do that.
Yeah, that's a great
We'll
idea.
put you on that, Deb.
What does, last year, 40 Days for Life looked very different than I'd seen in years past. They had worship services out there. They had actually a pretty large population of Hispanic folk out last year.
Yes, and we have a Spanish coordinator, I guess you would say, and all of our flyers are available in Spanish as well. We have a
that's
statement
good.
of peace that's in Spanish. And so if you're a Spanish-speaking church and you love children, just like the Lord does,
And you love Jesus?
and you love the Lord, then you can get all of your information in Spanish, and so that your entire congregation is able to, of course, if you're listening to this, hopefully you speak English as well and are understanding the words that I'm speaking.
There's
But,
some really awesome Hispanic
there are.
pro-life communities
There
out there.
absolutely
we
are.
happen to have a church right on our street that's a Spanish church, and they get involved with First Choice a lot too.
Yep.
Did you already mention the date of the kickoff rally for this upcoming one?
I did not.
Okay.
The kickoff rally. So we have every year before we begin the 40 days, we have one day where we try and meet everybody if we can. And we have a little kickoff rally. We have prayer. We do it for an hour. And we do it on site where the vigil is. And this year, that day is going to be September 15th. September 15th. That's wrong. September 25th. I can't read. September 25th.
2-5.
2-5, September 25th, a few days. The 28th kicks off the 40 days. September 28th kicks off the first day, but the 25th, which is a Sunday, will be at 2 p.m. at 872 East Sahara. It's actually just down a little bit, but you'll see us. And there'll be a group of people there. We'll have speakers, pro-life leaders. You'll
more
get to
like
meet me.
890. It's in front of the Spanish church, right?
Yeah, it's
it's
typically
a little bit.
right
Actually,
outside
it's right
First
next
Choice.
door to Tower of Jewels, and whom we absolutely love, by the way, for allowing us to use their property also to pray.
And
during
something I'm
40
going to
days.
contribute to this conversation, because I don't know if we've actually told our listeners lately, but we found out here in the last month and a half to 2 months how much darkness is at the end of our cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Not only is the abortion clinic at the end of our cul-de-sac, but the building that butts right up to it has put some very inflammatory signs out, mocking Christians, just some blasphemous signs, terrible, some vile stuff they've put out. And we found out here in the last month and a half to 2 months, one of the girls coming out of it, that they are making porn movies in that building.
Oh, no.
So it's literally the front lines of a spiritual battle. We're right there on the battlefield.
Wow.
There's 2 churches, First Choice. They're all fighting for God, fighting for Christ. And then right on the other side is an adult film industry and the abortion clinic that
Right.
I'm sure helps facilitate whatever.
And we've
pregnancies
wondered,
might
like,
come
why
out
are
of
they
that.
so antagonistic towards the sidewalk counselors out there? And, the new church came in, and they cleaned all the street off and painted their lines and trying to be good neighbors. And they come and they put up these terrible signs. I mean, things that you wouldn't want to have to explain to your child when they see that. Like, what is that? Somebody came, he has some shady business dealings, I guess, and burnt all of them down, and they've re-put them back up. Thankfully,
Wow.
at a little lower level, so not as much traffic sees these signs. But those signs butt right up now to the church, that the fence touches the wall to the Spanish church.
Oh, wow.
And so I've actually been really working on a whole prayer team that's going to kind of splinter into several different things for First Choice, just because the darkness at the end of our block, like, we knew it was dark, but we didn't realize
Yeah.
how
Just
much
how-
evil spiritual warfare is at that end of the block. So when you're coming out to pray, you're really coming out and joining a spiritual warfare
Absolutely.
that is going to be intense. You need to pray up before you come out to pray up.
No, seriously. Soften your heart. Get prepared.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
spiritual warfare.
It is. And just so that, for some of you mom and dads out there saying, well, my goodness, I don't think I can bring little Johnny. I just want you to know that our staging area for prayer is a good distance away
From the abortion.
from all of that.
Yeah.
So I just want you to be
Park by
comfortable.
Tower of Jewels and you'll be fine.
Exactly. And the Tower of Jewels folks, they're so wonderful. The Weinstein, I can't thank them enough. We'll be praying there. That's where our kickoff rally is going to be. It's going to be right alongside their business there. And so, again, you won't have any, trouble. You won't have to see any of that when you're praying during 40 days. And so, keep in mind what we're doing. I mean, it is life or death at the end of that street. And the amazing thing, if you've never been on that street before, I just want to draw for you the dynamic. You have it's a cul-de-sac, and at the end of this cul-de-sac is where the abortion facility is, behind a very tall 8-foot tall iron gate that you cannot get in unless they open it. And so you have that going on. Then you have this other business that kind of condones what they're doing their own evil thing.
It feeds
And
right into
it
the
does.
abortion clinic. Yeah.
And then you have 2 churches, and then you have First Choice Pregnancy Services. And it's crazy. I mean, it's life and death butted up right against each other.
Yes.
And literally behind the abortion facility, sharing a property line, is one of the largest Assemblies of God Church, Trinity Life Center, is right there.
Right behind
And it's
them.
just right behind it. And so the way I look at it, these businesses are surrounded. Eventually, they're going to have to raise the white flag and say, we're done. And
You have to cross some serious light to get to that dark.
yes, that right. And I want people to be encouraged, because I honestly believe, my Catholic friends out there, just hold on for a second, but I really believe the Lord has shown me that he himself is going to close Birth Control Care Center. And when that day occurs, I'm already praying for finances to buy the building, which leads me to another point. You know, there have been a lot of testimonies from 40 Days around the world, because 40 Days for Life just doesn't happen in Las Vegas. It's a worldwide event in dozens and dozens of nations every year.
It's
With
twice a year, right?
Twice a year. And a million volunteers, thousands of churches, a million volunteers. And 120 abortion facilities have closed. And the very first one that started back in Texas, College, I can't remember, College Station, whatever it was, College Station, Texas, I think it was, where they had an abortion facility. Not only did that one close, but 40 Days went and bought the building where the abortion facility is, and that's now national headquarters for 40 Days for Life. So listen, it is very possible, because it's already happened many times before.
Amen.
And we're praying for that building.
We serve the God of the impossible.
Absolutely.
Let it be God's victory.
Amen.
Yes. So, Deb, we have a story. Did you want to tap on it today, or you want me to tackle it?
Oh, good. You can tackle it.
So we did have a mother of 4, and that is actually including multiples. What?
Not always fatal. That's the only thing I was going to correct today.
Oh, okay. Well, you can.
No, good.
Okay. So we had a mother of 4. She had multiples included in that 4, and she had an abortion appointment that was scheduled nearby, and God actually redirected her steps. Praise the Lord. And she, quote unquote, accidentally came into First Choice here recently. And her significant other actually was supportive of the pregnancy, but she didn't want the pregnancy. And it's actually a good thing that she coincidentally came into First Choice, because she ended up having an ectopic pregnancy.
Oops.
Yes, and that can be fatal for the mother and almost always fatal for the baby. So it was very important that we were able to catch that for her for free. All of our services are free at First Choice. So when she came in, we were able to catch that for her, and she was able to
That's something
then go to her
abortion
doctor.
wouldn't remedy her situation.
That's right. She would have gone and had an abortion procedure, and then had to live with that for the rest of her life. Anyhow, we do have an event coming up. Deb, do you want to talk about our event?
Yes, so we are selling tickets, tables. If you'd like to sponsor a table or host a table,
Accepting underwriters.
yes, if you'd like to sponsor the event, whatever you would like to do, we could probably use you, whether it's volunteering or, going and talking to your church and getting your church involved in this event. We have Rachel Campos Duffy. She is the Fox and Friends weekend news anchor. She's a mother of 9. Her husband retired from Congress when she was pregnant with her last child, because they found out that the baby had Down syndrome. And so he wanted to be able to help her care for that child and be more involved in the medical necessities the child would need. She has a fascinating life story. Like I said, she's a mother of 9, and we're excited to have her come be a part of this and really celebrate the life of children with Down syndrome, those with special needs, as those are the individuals that are really targeted and singled out for that extra chromosome. I like to say they have that love chromosome that so many often end up aborting their children off of. I was talking with our doctor recently about it, and just looking up some statistics on Down syndrome, which this is all coming out in the newsletter. If you get our newsletter, if you don't get our newsletter, our hard copied, sign up. Just some of the stats surrounding Down syndrome, 90% of those that are diagnosed with Down syndrome end up aborting, and it is upwards of 75 to 80% of those diagnoses are inaccurate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we are murdering a lot of children all over the place.
And that's just Down syndrome. That's not even including all the other disabilities that are out there. And people then think that just because they're going to be born differently, that they're less than. And that is such a farce.
Yeah, I was talking to our events manager the other day, because she had, she'll tell you she doesn't know how many abortions she's had. She knows she's had at least 10. She has 4 children, and each of her 4 children that she did give life to, she was told she had Down syndrome with each of those children. And so she said, yeah, I was going to abort him. I went back for my second test, and the second test came back that they weren't. But each of those pregnancies all started with that diagnosis.
So we're going to be highlighting that at our banquet this year on November 10th at the Westgate. Make sure that you go to our website, fcpsfriends.org, in order to reserve your seats and
learn about our special guest that's going to attend.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ken, for coming on today and sharing
Always
us with
fun,
your story.
Ken.
It's over?
Just like that.
It just started.
Thank you guys for joining us here today on the Fight for Life. Be sure to tune in next week at 12:30 next Thursday to join us live. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. We love to hear from you guys. You can call us at the center, email us, or call here on Thursdays, and we'd love to talk to you on the air.
Thank you, Sasha Folk, who joined in on Facebook and said that she was going to pray. Everyone have a great
good weekend. God bless.
Thanks for joining your ambassadors for the unborn on the Fight for Life radio today and every Thursday on KKVV 1060 AM, the best news radio, the gospel airship.
If you'd like to support the cause of saving unborn babies, or if you have a question you'd like us to answer on the air, go to fcpsfriends.org or call us at 702-294-CARE. Again, that number is 702-294-2273.
On behalf of his little ones, thank you and God bless.